In a hardcore Minecraft experiment, 35 Minecraft players were scattered across a single island, each with 4 unique regions: the plains, the desert, the jungle, and the snow, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. With limited information, communication and resources, and no rules to follow, will these players come together in peace and ensure the collective survival of everyone? Or will chaos reign over this island, allowing only the strongest to persist? Each player had only one life to make their impact, and the story they made is something I'm proud to show you. If you want to see more videos like this, you can show your support by subscribing to my channel and liking the video. With that said, I present to you the hardcore Minecraft experiment. The experiment began much like any old survival playthrough. Punch trees, get stone, but soon it became apparent just how tough survival was going to be for our islanders. Food was not as plentiful as it is otherwise, and their hunger was starting to drain fast.
Do you have food?
Not anymore. I'm smelting kelp.
After a short time, our islanders were gathering into groups and sharing their resources. In the center of this island sprung the largest of these initial groups. So, tell me a little bit about your group here. I just want to know.
So yeah, we mine, and then we trade with the people for kelp, and then we smelt the kelp and we eat the kelp.
Do you guys have like a leader?
No.
No, that's kind of our whole thing, not to have a leader.
They would be known as the dwarves, carving out their base within the central mountain of the island. Many of the islanders that spawned in the jungle immediately escaped northward into the mountains, forming a group. Hey, how you guys doing?
Terrible.
Terrible?
Okay.
Well,
Do the unfair gameplay. Okay.
the time spent escaping the jungle meant that this group had very little food, and was now facing a hunger crisis.
We have nothing but. Come over here.
Okay.
Got this chicken named Ramsey.
You have a chicken named Ramsey?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, despite early hardships, this small group of Circuit, External Flea, and Logiman were tight-knit. However, as Circuit left to scavenge, a new player would arrive.
Hello?
Oh, okay.
Do you have a civilization anywhere?
I just found some civilization with me in Circuit, I think their name is. And I was also with another person, Logiman, and we were up at the mountains up there.
Okay, so you also
just
have food by any
just the
chance?
3 of us. I have seeds and a piece of wheat.
Good enough. Alright, bet. I'll be right back.
Mac Genius combined his small group in the mountains with this new one, and immediately began to organize the group.
What do we call it? What do we call it?
Okay,
back.
okay with us.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
And so, Mac Genius with his superior numbers and resources founded the Belbardier Shogunate, with himself as the shogun. While Mac's arrival brought the food and materials necessary for survival, the former group will find themselves swept up in Mac Genius's takeover. Some will fall in line, and others do not. In the plains, many smaller groups formed up, including the Chaos Miners, subterranean dwellers seeking music discs, and the first group to find Diamond, which they turned into a jukebox. The Hog Rider brothers, who wanted to build a village to defend themselves against the threat of other villages and clans. And finally, a building's foundation was started near the center of the plains.
Yeah, we're gonna make a half tavern, half banner shop.
Oh, that's sick. A small group of players, led by the religious Oscar Oak, set up camp over a lake between the desert and the jungle.
Yeah, we're the lake people. This is our holy land.
Yeah, we just want to be friendly.
We're making plans for night. We're gonna bridge out onto the lake.
Do you guys have any goals or?
Yeah, agriculture and trading. We want to trade. We want to just.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, we're trying to maintain relations with the dwarves, considering they're massive, and our neighbors. Oh, skeletons.
However, the building of their shelter would be delayed by a dispute between Oscar and a resident of the lake named Glib, who instead of building a house, wanted to build a shrine to me, of all things.
This is not a shrine. We are not building a shrine.
Tensions would continue as the sun fell, and the true dangers of the island bore their teeth.
No, if you're not going to respect the shrine, if you're not going to respect the shrine and my beliefs, I'm done.
You're not allowed to build this on land, bro.
Goodbye.
No, wait, you're the only one with more than 5 hearts. Come back. You're just not allowed to build a shrine as our centerpiece.
The lake cult, in less than a day, was destroyed by instability and monsters, with the rest of the worshippers scattering to whichever group would take them in. Other smaller settlements did not fare so well either. One of the first victims of the night was Von Arvenulk, one of the Hogrider brothers. This left the other brother, Hugelrug, to wait out the night, alone. The Chaos Miners, hasty to get their music disc, stepped a little too close to a creeper, and caused them to lose one of their members, a player by the name of Matt. Meanwhile, the larger groups had little trouble staying safe in the night, and were even uncovering rich iron deposits within the mountains, which they could use to improve their lives even further. The message was clear to the players. If you wanted to survive to the next day, you needed to group up. With the sun rising, the players would take their lessons into day 2. As their second day began, the people of the island mourned those they lost. Hugelrug, with his dying brother's wish, built the town hall and left the village to seek a fate for himself. However, some didn't hesitate to ensure their survival.
Wait, why are you leaving the sheep? What happened? What?
We're trading the cows and sheep.
Wait, what? Why?
We're just gonna merge into this bigger faction.
Wait, what?
We're just allying with the dwarves.
Oh.
While the rest of her group decided to join the dwarves for their own safety, a player named Sierra stayed behind, now a lone Chaos Miner. The Shogunate began to create its social structure, with Mac Genius as the Shogun, a player named Dan the Gamer as the head diplomat, and the rest of the group being delegated to more minor tasks.
Oh, speaking of projects, what about the tower? That's a tower we could work on, because I know Circuit has that.
Who started that circuit? Who circuit?
Right here, person next to me.
Okay. Why do you have the tower there?
I wanted to do something. I've got 2 towers now.
Okay, perfect. I know what you can do. Alright? So, here's what you're gonna do, okay? You're a builder, I guess. So, what you're going to build is that nice auto farm, okay?
With a single order from the Shogun, Circuit's dreams were sidelined. Many survivors of Day 1 would find the dwarves and be welcomed into one of the largest groups on the island. The former Lake Cult, most of the Chaos Miners, and even a few players who managed to make it on their own for the first night, like the player Granddaddy Frost, would find the dwarves and their welcoming outlook. Granddaddy Frost, despite the offer, decided to stay alone. He had plans that were more explosive than what was appropriate for them.
Well, too bad.
Oh
no! Dude! What are you planning on using that? Where are you planning on using that?
I plan on getting more, and then I plan on having fun. Do you guys like fun?
Oh.
With the night coming for our islanders once again, this night would not be as dangerous as the previous, as there were now established shelters all around the island. Even the abandoned lake house did not go unused, as a squatter had made it their home. Oh, hi. Is this your house? Alright. Did you see anyone else here? Around here? Alright. Not knowing of the history and tragedy that befell the previous inhabitants, it seems that the scars of Day 1 were beginning to heal. At dawn, a representative of the dwarves, Dovin, heads to the Belbardiers to discuss plans of an alliance between the two major groups.
So, wait, explain what happened.
So, on Day 1, me and Kiryu, we went here to grab Jaguar. And Kiryu, he suggested like a unification, but I think that was a little bit too much. We want to keep each other's sovereignty. Yeah,
well,
no,
actually,
I'm not suggesting that.
Well, actually, I'm not opposed to the idea, actually.
Oh, you're not? Yeah, I would prefer to keep like our kingdom's sovereignty. I wanted to make a different suggestion. It was an alliance. So we keep each other's sovereignty, but we make an alliance.
Let's go talk to the dwarves then. Whoa. Oh my god, this is the dwarves?
Mac Genius, spending all his time since Day 1 tending to the needs of his shogunate, has never actually seen any other settlements, so walking with Dovin, he goes to visit the Chaos Miner Sierra, a person who has no strong ties to any of the major groups.
Hey! What is this place?
I mean, I'm really the only one here. I just built this wall around here.
You built all this by yourself?
Well, I built most of it. That building over there was made by Todd. By one of my people that was here. I think he died, though.
That sucks. So wait, like, it's just you here, like, No one.
Well, I have another team that's alive, but they haven't been here since like day 2.
Nice. So like, what is this place called? Like, do you guys like have a name?
The group is the Chaos Miners.
The Chaos Miners?
Yeah, it's kind of stupid actually, but...
So the Chaos Miners?
Yeah.
Alright. That's nice.
With the major groups getting along well, Mac Genius decides to show both his power and his goodwill by constructing a tunnel between the two bases. He sends out the Belbardiers to mine and collect resources. Nello forges on despite the loss of her friend Diamond, and works on the tavern alone. It wouldn't be long before she found help from an unlikely place.
What you building?
A tavern. Would you mind helping?
Yeah, I was gonna offer.
Basically, once I get this lore pattern done, we're gonna have to chop down a ton of spruce.
Okay, that's cool. That's funny, because I was just sent by my group over in the mountains to chop a bunch of wood.
It isn't long after until Sierra, the lone Chaos Miner, approached the tavern grounds and offered to help. The Central Plains were no longer alone, and as she helped, Circuit began to understand her place on this island and what she wanted to be. Coming to understand that there are good people out there, she begins to reconsider her allegiances. The machinations of Mac Genius have revealed themselves to be a railway stretching from the Shogunate Castle to the mountain home of the dwarves. Mac Genius wanted to show the dwarves how much he desires peace by allowing quick travel to and from the Shogunate, stopping right in the heart of Belbardier Castle. It was a display of trust, knowing that neither side would abuse their goodwill, but Mac Genius's true worries should not lie with the other side. Assuming the worst, a few of the Belbardiers headed out to rescue Circuit.
Hello.
That's a nice
Hello.
base.
Are you guys the
Do you know
tavern?
where the tavern is?
Right there.
Hey!
If you look at your team,
Hey,
it's right over there.
There you go.
Hey!
Hello! Oh,
We came
my
back
heroes.
for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we thought you were just like lost in the forest for the longest time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was getting wood, and then it turned night, so I had to find somewhere to stay. There were mobs absolutely everywhere, so I came here and offered my help for a place to stay.
Well, the thing is, most of these people have a ton. Like, don't get me wrong, I am leader. I push out the college, but most of these people do. But the circuit is that.
I made it back.
Bro, we thought you died.
Circuit returned to Belbardier Castle with a new idea to bring peace to the island, a rebellion that will put an end to the Shogunate. With the construction of the railway, enough of the dwarves have accepted Mac Genius's proposal for an alliance, and the bond between the two entities would be known as the Dwellers' Alliance. However, Mac Genius encounters a new problem. How do you keep the alliance fair for all involved, especially with the other half of the alliance having no leader? Mac Genius obviously had preference for his own shogunate, he was well aware of that. So who would take up an impartial role as a representative for both sides? And then it hit him. There's someone in the plains who was far enough removed from the Belbardiers and the dwarves to not have a particular bias one way or another. He had to convince Sierra to represent the alliance, but he couldn't do it alone. He needed some backup.
Tony's house, that's him. Tony.
Tony, you in here? Where is?
You steal from me and I kill you. Yeah, that's the guy. That's definitely the guy.
Where are you? I need your services. Just the man I need to see. Perfect. You said you're a bounty hunter, is that it, whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you also do kidnapping? I just need you to kidnap a single person. You think you can do it?
Yeah.
I would prefer to keep this low key, but if you really need us, I think it should be fine. But
Do you know where the person is?
Sarah, yes, I know.
I want you to kidnap her, bring her here, alright? And
Okay.
if anyone tries to stop you, go ahead, do what you gotta do. Alright?
Circuit left halfway through the conversation and retreated into the snowy woods, freshly emboldened in her ambitions. She travels until she reaches stone pillars and begins to build. Meanwhile, the plan is now underway. Tony heads out to meet Sierra.
Hey, Sierra, so I got hired to send this message to you. So,
Yeah.
do you want to become the leader of the Dwellers Alliance? It seems to take a lot to do, I guess.
I kind of like what I have here. I'm trying to get these pigs into a farm.
Okay. So, they told me that I might have to take you by force if you don't accept.
What?
Please don't kidnap my only neighbor. I'm extremely
Is
lonely
it because
out here.
I can go over there, but I need these pigs in first.
Okay, yeah.
So, why exactly do they want me to be your leader? What's the reason for that?
I have no idea either. They just hired me. Do you just want to follow me?
Yeah, there's no way they set up a trap. They would have to, there's no way.
No, I don't think it's a trap.
They don't have an actual reason to kill me, do they? Because, I didn't do anything to
Nah,
them.
I don't think so. They seem that they just want you to be their leader.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
I remember that voice. Oh,
Yo.
perfect. Come here. Guys, I behold our new great leader.
I'm not doing this.
Who? Where? Who?
I don't think you have
Who?
much choice.
I will be back. No one followed me. I'm going to go think.
If you do this,
No.
there's
Leave me
no
alone.
going back. If you do this, there's no going back. We will.
I will come back in a
everything. You better.
I will come back.
Escaping Mac Genius's coercion, Sierra goes to Nello for support.
Oh my god, Nilo, please help.
What is it?
They're following me.
This way.
Oh my god, I'm scared.
It was now apparent how the position of Shogun has changed Mac Genius into someone brash, foolish, yet powerful. Desperate for his plan to be successful, Mac Genius hastily sets his sights on someone else.
Who is this person? I never seen this person.
Hello, I'm Koi.
I've never seen this person, but welcome to the team.
It's my first time over in this part. On the first day I joined with the Chaos Miners, and then I wasn't here for the second day.
Do you know Sarah?
I'm very bad with names, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay, You.
Yes.
You. Hit the bell.
Hang on, I'll make myself chat.
Alright, cool. You're the leader now.
Okay. What do I do?
That's
With Mac's strange plan subsided for now, the rebellion continues to develop. A traveler named Kiryu Varus stumbles upon Circuit and her fledgling home.
This seems nice. I thought this was like another group.
No, this is my work in progress. The others don't know about it.
They haven't found it?
No, they haven't found it yet, and I'm really surprised.
Yeah, because it's so big.
I know.
Damn.
The only rule I have here is no bells.
You're traumatized.
Oh my god. Honestly, I walk back and they're just spamming the bell. It's hell over there.
Yeah, there's a guy whose skin's Isabel, so yeah.
Yeah, that's Dan. We were friends in the beginning, so I'm kind of a
In the beginning.
With Mac Genius's handling of the Alliance, the two of them agree that just a simple unseating of power is no longer the way forward.
Yeah.
What is your plan?
Well, okay, I'm thinking I tell him that I've found something, interesting, and I lead him over, and hopefully I'll just,
Do you plan any date? Like today?
No, not today. Either maybe tomorrow or the day after.
Okay.
I was gonna say, do you want to be there just in case
hell
he's really
yeah.
good at PvP? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Perfect.
And so, the plan to assassinate Mac Genius was underway. In the morning of day 5, someone was up to no good. They called themselves the Bongler, a rogue prankster that didn't just hit the dwarves, but the Belbardiers too.
Yo, somebody placed a bunch of crafting tables in our base.
What?
Come. In here.
In here. Oh.
Yeah.
This is a
Why?
pleasant surprise.
I have no idea who did this. Hold on. I want to go do some investigating. Yeah. What else we? Yo, did you
There was
place a bunch of
nothing.
crafting tables in the base?
No, I walked in and saw that.
Okay, we need to
I
figure out
just
who
walked
did this,
in.
yo.
I'm going to the plains for a second.
Any info?
No, I just checked their
No.
places. Nothing.
Shoot.
Slowly, a mob was forming that was storming the entire island looking for the Bongler, but the mystery surrounding their identity caused some people to begin to doubt the peace that was so easily achieved with the Alliance. Luckily, Dovin was constructing a meeting room between the two settlements that would hopefully serve as a neutral ground for any disputes once the Bongler incident is solved.
What's going on with the Bongler situation right now?
Randomly just doors and a bunch of other things like buttons randomly placed around and crafting tables like all around the bases and stuff.
So do you know who it is?
I have no clue.
Okay, so look, I want you to find him, alright? Because last thing we need is a bunch of copper doors blocking the base. It's just no one wants to deal with that, okay? You think you can handle that?
Yeah.
While the rest of the island began to scramble against this new threat, Circuit fully committed to the rebellion and exiled herself to build the Silent Snow Fortress, a rebel base on the other side of the mountain range. This was something she'd wanted to build since day one for her friends, but now it will be used against that same group under the Belbardier banner, under Mac Genius. With the Bongler hitting the still unfinished tavern, Nello had enough.
I'm gonna be real. It's already done been butchered.
Okay, I'll start from over here.
The tavern proceeded to burn, a project too ambitious for the island's harsh and chaotic nature. However, the floor would remain as a place to mingle and sell banners.
No! No, 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 no.
We have suspicion that the Bongler is in here, so I guess just bottoms up.
Okay.
Down
with the Bongler! Down with the Bongler! With the night retreating, what would have been a relaxing and peaceful day had become full of paranoia and anxiety about what was going to await the islanders tomorrow.
Everyone thought, oh yeah, this guy's the Bongler.
The next morning, the hunt for the Bongler immediately resumes. The dwarves and Belbardiers put their concerns aside to unmask and stop the Bongler.
You can see who lives in the desert, you can see who lives in the plains, you can see who lives in the snow, so they must be...
They're in the jungle.
I think that's a pretty solid theory.
Granddaddy Frost leads the pack into the mostly unexplored jungle, while External Flea searches independently within the settlements. Meanwhile, Circuit and Kiryu are now putting their plan into motion, attempting to separate Mac Genius from the rest of his cohort under the pretense of filling him in on the Bongler hunt.
Yo, Macgenius, are you gonna be here?
I don't know. Why?
You wanna come with me to discuss news?
That sounds suspicious. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm gonna see the other side how the team is doing. Hey!
Oh, hi. Hello.
Circuit, where's that wood?
Hey. The wood, it should be in the chest. Currently, I have only 7.
I like how he sent you on a mission like 2 days ago, and you still never got the wood, and you somehow go
I did
missing.
get wood. I got wood, came here, got rid of my wood, got some more wood, put it in the chest, and it's gone.
I would say get more wood, but you look like you're on a mission.
Oh, I'm really not. I'm just kind of wandering around.
Oh, perfect. That means I could borrow you.
Okay.
Give me your opinion. Should we build a highway here? Like a railroad?
I think so. I think that'd be a good idea.
I mean, it seems possible, but this civilization, it's unorganized. You know, it's not really... And they don't have a lot to trade.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling something bad is going to happen tomorrow. What do you think?
Tomorrow?
But what do you think might happen tomorrow?
Guys, Mac, I found apparently a little rebellion against your nation.
Well, of course, who's rebelling?
Oh, what?
I have no idea, but there is a sign that says "Rebel to the bow."
When the force is paying attention.
Rebel to the belt. What did I do to them?
I have no idea.
Alright, you know what? Let's call a council meeting then. I guess this will do.
Alright, you're gonna buy it as a nation flag. A stack of
You're
iron.
making
will do.
commission.
A stack of iron? Did you just say a stack of half? Do you not hear yourself?
Good sir, this is bannerment. I have to respect myself and what I'm
Inflation
worth.
has been hit.
And I'm worth half a stack of iron.
Okay, hold on. You
Well,
mean
to be fair, no,
iron...
a stack, because I'm taking this off the market.
Okay.
Yeah,
you mean,
you're
like,
monopolizing a
nuggets,
product,
right?
Mac.
You mean like just a stack of nuggets? You sure you don't want the railroad instead?
Unless you want to make your own banner.
What if I...
Shortly after the banner transaction, Mac Genius returned to the Shogunate, and unfortunately Nello had to leave the server early due to health complications. Throughout the remaining day, players would wish her well by writing signs on the platform. External Flea's search of the Bongler would bring him to witness a familiar face. Desperate to put an end to this wild goose chase, Lee made the decision to end the chaos once and for all, and execute Logimen. Mac returns from his trip with a new sense of peace. The plains seem to mostly forgive him, the dwarves are allied with his people in the face of the Bongler, and soon he'll be expanding the railway to cover the entire island so people can be more connected than ever. But the rebellion was right behind him.
Alright. What are you doing?
The rebellion made their choice.
What's going on down here?
Let's guard.
Mac Genius was dead, no less standing on his greatest accomplishment as Shogun, but only one person knew of this: External Flea.
Someone killed Mac. Kiryu. He had a firework crossbow, and then I hear a loud pop in our base, and then I run downstairs and there's armor everywhere.
What?
Yeah.
Alright,
And then I hear someone that sounds a lot like Kiryu. They're running away, and he's like, "Go, go, go! We gotta go!" Bro,
is it 5?
I swear, I saw him in our base with a firework rocket crossbow, and then 5 seconds later, they're down in the mines with Mac, and I hear a pop, and then I go down, and I see armor on the ground, and then him and another guy are running away.
So Mac's gone.
Mac is dead, murdered by Kiryu.
While Circuit managed to get away, Kiryu became a suspect and was captured. But before Kiryu went to trial, the hunting group led by Granddaddy Frost found a culprit.
This is Kiryu, by the way.
Everyone, I know who the Bongler is.
Who?
Hello? Oh.
The Bongler is External Flea.
Flea was wrong about the real Bongler. As it turns out, the bongling did not stop after the execution of Logiman. External Flea had taken an innocent life in his haste. Worse yet, it was his own friend. With blood on his hands and the ire of the entire island, Flea saw only one way out.
What?
Wait.
Why?
No!
Is he the
He
killer?
was my friend!
Despite the death of the sole witness External Flea, the Dwellers' Alliance marched to the council, ready to decide Kiryu's fate.
So Husky, Cat King, and I, we come back up the mines, and External Fleet tells us that your Mac Genius had died because he heard two people. One used a fireworks crossbow, and he heard a pop, and the other person was saying like, go, 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 get out of here or something. And then he goes downstairs, and he finds like, just a bunch of armor, because he's like, oh crap, someone died. And he checks, and he's like, oh, Mac Genius isn't online anymore. So he came to the conclusion that someone with a fireworks crossbow had killed Mac Genius. And they tell that to us, but yeah.
So, and I know somebody beforehand told me that they gave some gunpowder to somebody for rockets.
Yeah, that was me. I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I don't remember who it was. I think it was Kiryu. I gave the gunpowder.
The main reason I am suspecting Kiryu and accusing him of it is because that is who External Flea said sounded like the voice saying, go, go, go.
So, from the evidence we have so far, they came out of the mine, they heard somebody saying go, go, go after hearing firework rockets, and we believe it is Kiryu.
I believe there is another suspect.
Oh, yeah.
There is a second suspect.
Yeah, 100%.
He had to say go, go, go to someone.
Alright.
I think I know who's the other suspect.
Who do you think it is?
Well, right on that side, there's a tower, and then in that tower, I saw a sign, the Balladeers, that they were rebelling against them. And the person that lives in that tower is hungrier.
Oh, the hog rider?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, them.
I believe he's responsible.
Okay. Yeah, the last time I saw him, he was building a pyramid in the desert.
Okay, so what are our thoughts?
Because of how many people there are in this room. Is that TNT? Oh man, why do you have TNT up in steel?
Oh yeah, because you know I'm the guy that's been
Oh.
collecting TNT.
He's quite a
Just
collector of it.
collecting a TNT.
Oh,
Yeah, he has plenty.
No.
Put back the plot.
Okay, I was about to say because like
Okay,
that stands
that's
out.
a good idea.
It's easy
Yeah,
for
there's a chest there if you can bring it. North.
What the?
Oh no no!
Oh, oh my god.
Should we all go kill the old man?
Honestly, we need a
Alright.
ticket.
All in favor going to kill the old man.
Wait, who? Wait, who are we killing? What happened?
Run!
Yo!
Alright, everyone go kill the old man. We can trial after. Or can wait. They clearly were placing TNT. Everyone saw it. We got a ton of witnesses.
I'm sorry, Frosty. We need to do this to you. Wait, what? There's a giant pyramid.
Yeah, this is mine.
Do you think I wanted to do this?
What? You didn't have the choice.
It was a joke at first, and then Kirio told me to do it.
What? I'm not
Well, I'm
killing
saying
you,
the
don't worry, I
water.
don't want to kill anybody.
You know, if you kill me, you'll never know the bungler.
He's dead.
Yeah,
The
he's dead.
bungler is not
Pretty
our
cool.
concern.
I guess
I think he was the bungler. I'm like 99% sure.
I wonder if Oh, I already. Oh my god, that scared me.
Did Kiryu run for it, or...?
Yeah, Kiryu is not in here anymore.
Okay, so we killed his accomplice, but he's still on the loose.
Well, we don't know
Let's
where
go.
he is.
We need to go, yeah.
Oh, okay, we're going back to hunt Kiryu actually.
The rebellion was a success for Circuit. But, wandering the empty halls of the Belbardiers, she wonders if it was the right choice to go as far as she did. MacGenius did save her group from starvation, and he did try to bring peace, but his ambitions also put people in danger. Circuit stopped the Shogun and prevented any more harm, but External Flea and Logiman are gone.
Lee's dead. That's not good.
Circuit has a lot of rebuilding to do, but luckily, that's just what she's good at. After a scan of the entire island, Kiryu Varus is nowhere to be found. Did he die while trying to get away? Or is he hiding somewhere remote on the island? Is he underground, surviving in the iron mines? While justice may not have been served traditionally, the remaining islanders feel safe, knowing that he cannot return without fierce opposition. However, Kiryu was only one half of the rebellion, and the other half now feels confident in making herself public once more.
I read a whole Bible.
Yeah.
I wrote one.
Cool.
Yep.
So what happened to everybody else? Like
Ooh,
Flea,
nice jump.
Cat
But
King,
yeah.
Loki.
Flea? You mean this guy I'm holding the head of? Where are you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
guy.
he killed him. He killed himself live on stage.
Oh, well that's something.
Yeah, he did it right up there.
I see.
Yeah, it
Do
was
we know
quite the shock
why?
to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it just you, me, and Husky left with this place?
Wait, out of everyone?
Well, I think so.
Oh, I hope not. If so, we're screwed.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think the rest of our group has just gone explore. They went exploring to hunt down the old man that placed TNT to try to kill us. Apparently they did kill him, but I tried to go get something and I went back and they all vanished. There should still be people from our group, although our leader, MacGenius, is presumably dead.
Only 4 Belbardiers returned home after Kiryu was declared missing. Circuit's plan, as well as the acts of the Bongler, had reduced the Belbardiers to nearly nothing. However, they still had each other. With the day winding down, it seemed that the threats that plagued our islanders were finally behind them. The rebellion was fully abandoned by Circuit, as she vowed to rebuild her home. The Bongler, despite their identity never being discovered, was no longer active as well. Now, it was certain that the world was finally at peace. Everyone went to Nello's platform to celebrate their deeds and honor the ones they lost. Dan would take the opportunity to come forward and share the future of the Belbardiers.
Everyone gather around. I got a long story to tell y'all. Alright, kids? Everyone sit down. This is called The Beaming Rings of the Altruistic Golden Expediter, a story of justice, community, and sticks, by Mr. Dan 10Z9 and copied by Husky 1268.
And it was indeed a very long story. After reading, Dan would announce himself as the head of the new Belbardiers, a religious establishment in service to the very long story he serenaded the party with. As our islanders continue to celebrate, the night retreats once more, the final danger overcome. 13 of the original 35 remain on a land plagued by tragedy and violence, but those days are behind them now. A new era is on the horizon, an era that will be remembered as a time of peace, of prosperity, and of new bonds. But while that story begins, it's about time to end this one.
Yes, all this courtesy of circuits. Very sick, I must say.
So we created the Brotege, which of course is our biblical book planning to spread peace of the bells, and we read it. People enjoyed it, but nobody actually really converted.
You expanded your castle, did you?
I did.
And I see you've also been helping out the other groups with their own building projects.
Just trying to be helpful.
And I want to know what's been happening since, since all that stuff went down.
I've kept it undercover so far, and I'm building more relationships. Essentially, I'm keeping myself safe and trying not to cause any more destruction.